You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Americans After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Americans After Show.
Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ After Show, the Americans AFTERBUZZ After Show, that is. The penultimate episode, Joe Sanfelippo.
The almost ultimate.
episode 12, Operation Chronicle. I almost said Cronenberg for some reason.
I thought you were going to go with Chronic, and I was like, it's a different
Operation
show.
Chronic, homie. I'm Joe Braswell. I'm joined, as always, by the lovely Joe Sanfelippo.
Hey, nice to be here with you guys.
We are not, unfortunately, joined by the even lovelier Jennifer Golden. Jen the Jew Golden is not here, but she will be here next week for the finale. And it sucks because we have lots to talk about, lots to discuss. Yeah, they're really winding this up, writing the season down with some real tension. I like the way I feel like last season they kind of wound down. It sort of ramped up with a lot of action, a big action. Sort of like we have the action sequences. The stakes were higher, and it went the action way. This season, it's really just tightening up from a suspense standpoint. They're really giving us the suspense. I doubt sincerely we'll end up with a bunch of car crashes and explosions and shootouts on a finale, but there is that. There's something about the tension in the spy stuff we're getting this week. What did you think of this episode?
Oh, that's great. I'd say the same thing every week. I love the show. I think the show is so well crafted. I think the relationships are so believable. I think the people and like you said, the tension. And what I love about it is it like I've said before, it feels like the best show in the world about a marriage, and their little meeting at the end is just. That exhaustion that comes with raising kids that you can only really have if you're raising a family and running a business, and they have that exhaustion and that just we're just dealing with everything we can deal with. I love that. I love the show always feels very natural, feels very well written to me.
Yeah, well, it's extremely well written, extremely well conceived and well written, and it's written by who they call the Jays, which Costa Ronin called them the Jays, and if you know them, Joe Fields and Joel Weisberg. They actually wrote this episode as well, which is cool.
The two of them,
yeah, and so the writing's spectacular, the themes are spectacular. It's a show about marriage, we know that already, in relationships and characters, and it's great. We did have two great sort of marriage moments at the end there with Philip and Elizabeth, and then also, of course, with Stan and
Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra
did not go good. Sandra's gotten cold, man. She's cold-blooded with
Stan. She's been dealing with Stan's sorry ass for all these years. Sandra's put up with a lot of ish, man. I'm telling you right now. Like, married to an FBI, my man went on that crazy, we still don't know what the hell happened to him with that biker gang. Whatever the hell happened to him in that deep cover biker gang mission, she put up with that. Yep. Came back, moved to closer to get an office job in Virginia. Next thing you know, he's back on the case. He's chasing spies around, doing stuff like...
It's not spies he's chasing.
Okay, exactly.
Chasing one spy around the bedroom.
Chasing something else, yeah. But, so yeah, then in the middle of that, he has this affair, and of course, he's not present. So what's a girl to do?
Move in with the new guy.
Yeah, and that was a very sort of like chilling scene. Having been through a divorce myself, and not just this very chilling scene, that notion of, so what are we going to do? What's going to happen? Like, you want me to move out? It's like, nope, I'm going to move in with him. It's like, oh, okay.
It's that astonishing moment, which I have not experienced, and I do not care to.
I will knock on linoleum
for Michael. Whatever we got going here.
Yes.
Just that moment of where she's completely done.
All right.
And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because as a man, you always, or as a person in general, maybe it's not men or women, you just always assume the other person is still going to be involved, even if you got half a foot out. You kind of,
Yeah.
You're counting on that, and then when she's just so matter of fact, no.
Yeah, but Stan's earned that.
Definitely.
And also, I think that Stan's sort of like a realist about the situation. I feel like he's come to terms. He's come to terms with it a long time ago. It's just the reality of it is really hitting him, and the fact that he comes home and he's copped the Rocky Horror Betamax for the kid, and he's like, yeah, Dad, Rocky Horror, sweet, I gotta go. Like something's off. I mean, obviously Saunders talked to the son about the whole situation, and but I do like his sort of his realization, like, okay, is he a good guy? And she's like, he's in the flow of things. In other words,
he's able to be in the flow of things.
Yeah, he's able to be in the flow of things. He's around. He's present. He's not a zombie
like you. He's able
to
be a grown-up in the society we've created.
Yes.
Did you notice, by the way, that was clearly a Betamax? That there was no way in hell that was a VHX.
Oh, I said
VHS.
That. Yeah, I said he became the Betamax of the Rocky Horror.
Is that what you said?
I did.
I didn't pay attention.
It's all right.
I'm barely conscious.
You rarely do. It's fine.
A Betamax action.
I just talk. You're like, and there was a Betamax. Anyway, so and also in that very same scene, we saw the old school Tupperware, that green that piss yellow and puke green Tupperware.
I wonder how they sold that. I mean, I was not at that time. I think I was probably like, was I 7?
I was 17.
You were 17. How was that for you?
It was.
I just wonder how they sold like the nature's colors. I mean, what were they going for?
I don't know.
Remember those green refrigerators we all had?
I think it was like a space agey vibe because they stacked and they were big. Anyway, Tupperware.
Ugliest color.
I love the authenticity of the show because it just takes some of us who were alive in the 80s, takes us back. So moving forward, so that. But let's get to the heart of what this story is about. Is we pick right up where we left off, which is they're going to assume that Kate is dead. They're going to assume Kate's down. And we still have kind of a mystery to solve here on that side because we still haven't really got to the bottom of why the hell Kate broke character and not in disguise went and had a conversation with Jared. Like something. They're still,
no, something doesn't smell quite right.
Yeah, and they're still trying to figure that, like, okay, well, the sinner says he knows, and I guess he does know, and Kate told him stuff, but why?
And we're still not. I mean, I think we could safely assume that Larrick is the killer with the whole family there, but we still don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we do not know that for sure because they definitely have gone out of their way to not reveal that as the thing.
And I still don't trust Instagram on with that whole scene. I still think that that Claudia still might have. It didn't feel right to me.
Well, we'll see Claudia in the finale. Looks like Claudia's showing up for the finale, which is good news. I mean,
Margot Martindale. Here I am.
Just in time to get her Emmy for the episode.
Right.
She just rolls into the finale, acts the ish out of the joint, and then picks up her Emmy and goes.
Episode 13. I'm gonna see y'all at dinner.
And goes back over to the Millers, just for supper, and does some more sitcom comedy. Yeah, she's great. So I'm sure whatever is gonna happen with Margot Martindale, it's gonna be amazing acting. So that's gonna be fun. We don't know, but we do know that Jared's in danger. The senator said, Jared, take care of Jared. The thing that I'm not. Oh, get Jared out is what Kate said. Get Jared out. It's the only message they got from Kate on the toilet paper. So they proceed to get Kate out, and they have their plan, exfiltration plan, which involves getting him clean and getting him to the train and getting him to the safe house, and then they exfil him from there to wherever, maybe Switzerland, maybe wherever, and he'll live his life.
Let me ask
presumably.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, I'm ready.
Why is Jared important to the center? Now, I understand why he would be important to Philip and Elizabeth because they can see their kids in his situation.
Yeah.
But what is his strategic value to the center? Is there any, or are they really?
Yeah, I mean, they're communists, but they're not monsters.
Well, that's an honest question. So I mean, at some point it becomes mathematics. You say, okay, are we going to risk Elizabeth and Philip to get out Jared? And if we're risking Elizabeth and Philip, by extension, we're risking Paige and Henry.
Right.
And so now we're risking 4 to get out 1. Is that, and then of course we're involving the safe house.
I don't know that
and the lady at the safe house.
I don't know if the sinner has made the same calculations that Philip and Elizabeth have.
So you're saying
the sinner doesn't know that Larrick is. They still think Larrick's in Nicaragua. No one knows.
Okay, so the sinner. Well, Philip and Elizabeth still think Larrick is in Nicaragua.
Right.
They don't know it's what's going on. They don't know that.
They know that Jared's, for whatever reason, is in imminent danger from presumably the people who killed Leanne and Emmett.
Right.
And that's all they know. Maybe it's Larrick. Maybe it's not. not. But all we know is their boss, I mean, their handler said, "Get Jared out." That's her last order.
So Kate's last order was get Jared out, and so the center is gonna facilitate that to the whatever degree.
Yeah, because I'm sure they said, "Hey, man, like, hey, center, like, Kate's probably dead, but the last thing she said was get Jared out, so we're gonna do that, right?" And the center's like, "Yeah, okay, do the plan."
Got it.
That's my assumption, and so they're doing the plan, and so just following this path, because I want to talk about, we'll come back to Paige later in her whole thing, but like, just follow. Actually, let's go linear a little bit on this one, because they're planning this mission, trying to figure out what they need to do, and again, the stakes are so high and the tension's so high, and we as the audience are so wrapped up in, oh my God, what are they gonna do about Jared? What's gonna happen? This is what the show does so well, is we're so wrapped up in the tension of the spy stuff. Then Paige comes around the corner like, hey, yeah, you have a family. I'm your daughter. Help me pack.
Yeah, just a quick reminder. Like, I met her.
Oh, God, yeah, that's right. I have a family, and that thing. Yeah, I can't. That's so. The show's so great with that stuff.
How lame does it sound when they're making up? Well, they've got in Phoenix. We got a whole bunch of people. The hotel rooms are wrong, and the flights are wrong.
Yeah, and Paige is a smart teenager. She's like,
are you kidding?
The flights, they can't do a thing.
They can't get hotel rooms. They have to call you. It's a lot of work. She's got to go in until 4 in the morning and drive all night.
Okay, yeah, it's like, so you can go to the office. Really? Yeah, kids are not dumb. So Paige is not having any of that. Once she's off to the office, and in retrieving the contact list, she does make a phone call home.
But give Philip some. I mean, Matthew Reese, the way he plays that with the kids. When he makes the face, oh, she's still at the office.
Yeah,
like he does that so well, and he makes it so natural and
subtle.
And that's some good stuff. I just felt like pointing it out.
He's a good actor, good at acting, as we say. So
good sell.
Yeah. So all that, obviously,
she goes back to the office, gets the context.
Back to the office, gets the context, makes the phone call, and Paige is doing that old school move that we all did, the old school move on the line. And the same thing that your dad or your mom would do, it's like, or you do to your sister, get off the line, because you're not fooling anyone.
I must tell you that my mother would never have said it that way.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
No, my mother, God bless her, she's a crazy woman. And so it would have been, you listen to me. Her teeth would get the lockjaw. You get off that phone, I swear to God, it will come up there.
I don't care who's she'd be talking to the pastor, she'd be talking to whoever it is. It's like, Joe.
You know what? And we were so dumb too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even on it. Fell off the hook.
It's not me. I don't know
what happened. So Paige is doing that move, and
so smooth, so back, old school.
And then Paige gets off the phone, and then she still's like doesn't want to acknowledge herself, so she does the other move where it's like you grab you put the
and then you have to slide the sucker back in, man.
You put the receiver down first, and you slide the sucker back in. That is stuff that people like. I think that some people of a certain age would watch that and be like, what is I
don't even understand.
We didn't have those phones anymore. Anyway, so that was cool. So they were continuing the conversation. They gave the information that they found out that Philip got the information from the center that apparently Jared knows that his parents are spies, which is news to them.
Which is crazy.
And which doesn't make any sense to Elizabeth at all. Like, well, how would they know? Why would they tell him that? Philip's like, hey, man, it's not a two-way conversation. They just give me the info. I'm telling you what they told me.
That was a bleep, bleep, and a bloop, bloop, and that's all I got.
I don't know. Series of numbers and twitches. I don't know. So, yeah, so I found out these, and again, this whole thing for me is just getting so crazy suspicious in that, like, what? None of this adds up. Like, he knows that they're spies. Kate is talking to him. And then I don't know. Do you trust Jared at this point?
How do you digest? Yeah, how do you? I don't know. I mean, how do you digest that your parents are Soviet spies? I mean, honest to God, if you grow up in America, right, and it's the 80s today, it doesn't matter, same thing.
Yeah.
If you grow up in this country and you're 14, 15, 16, 17, you are well and truly indoctrinated. You do believe in this. There's no question. And can you imagine having that dropped on you?
Yeah. I mean, you love your parents and everything else, and your parents come first.
Or do they? I mean, really, when you get that far off the grid,
right?
When you get that far out there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's deep. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know what I would have done with that information.
Wow. Who knows how long he knew the information? Who knows?
Right.
Maybe he's a baby spy baby. Not spy baby. Maybe he's a. was what did I say? Oh, Spy Kid.
Spy Kid.
Yeah, maybe he's a Spy Kid the whole time.
You know, I got a 7-year-old.
Spy Babies from the Blacklist.
Like you imagine, like, honey, now keep in mind we're Soviet spies. When you go to school, you can't tell anybody you're a Soviet spy.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't your kids be like, that'd be the first thing your kids would drop on them,
Yes.
right? Like shove, shove, push, push.
Right.
You know what my dad does? He's a spy. How about that?
My dad's gonna come cap you. You better give me back my lunch.
he's Russian.
Give me my lunch back.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd be like the first threat out your mouth.
Who knows? Okay, so whatever. So it seems, but I did like it. I did buy 100% Elizabeth's sort of mini exfiltration when she went to get Jared. That was such a cool scene. Again, another thing this show does very well. These great scenes where Elizabeth was so calm and cool with and deliberate with everything she said to him, including the first whatever the safety pass was, community. Well, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was community. Everything. When you wake up in the morning, you should be community, health, community, and no, I didn't write it down. Something else. But it's specific to them. It's not specific to communism. It was a specific.
It was a specific code to them.
That was our code.
He got that. And it's also well directed and well played because at any given moment, did you not think Jared was going to just break out running at any given moment? She's like,
health, growth, and community.
Health, growth, and community. He's like, you should probably get in the car. And Jared's like, I thought he was going to run then. He gets in the car. I thought he was going to run. But then in the car ride, Elizabeth was very like, look, this is the deal. You know about your parents. They're very brave. And she was talking almost in code. She didn't have to come out and say, your parents are spies for the KGB.
Right.
And you know how shit works. Like, she was very, very, very deliberate. Like, your parents did this kind of work. I work with your parents. I did the same thing they did. Another woman talked to you. She talked to you about that. We know you know. Here's what has to happen. You have to, we call it being clean. Your clothes have to be clean. You cannot go back to your old life. Like, all this stuff, she did a very good job and very clear and deliberate. And he pretty much took it all in. And it seemed pretty real. It didn't seem like at any given moment he was like, this is part of the plan.
And she seemed very comforting, very maternal, and but very, very straightforward. And she gave him the respect of speaking to him like an adult. Right. And it's neat. It's neat to see her very maternal because she doesn't get to be that maternal with her own kids.
She was very maternal, but at the same time, it was like a weird mix, like you said, a weird mix of her speaking to him as an adult and not, patronize him, like talking down to him, and then also, being maternal at the same time. And while this is all happening, our boy Larrick is hot on the trail with a very cool 1983 tracking device, pre-GPS, the old school. Like when I saw that. When you saw that stuff on, like, I don't know, a James Bond movie from the 80s when Roger Moore would pull out the thing, I'd be like, that ain't real.
You remember that?
Yeah, like that. Like, beeping thing. They don't have that in 1983. But apparently they did.
Apparently. And it beeped and everything. And you know what? It looked well made.
So, I mean, spy stuff we don't know about.
Spy stuff.
Anyway, so Larrick's hot on the trail, and he's somewhere in the vicinity. I love that, too. I love the idea of, it's this good old fashioned tracking, in the sense there is no watching 24 and Chloe's got the device in the guy.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar, those were maps he took out of the glove compartment and he drew on them.
He triangulated the thing. He pulled out good old fashioned maps and figured out where they might possibly go and then found them. Did some good old fashioned detective / spy work.
Good stuff.
So that was pretty cool to see Larrick do that tracking move. But my question is to you,
I got to get one of them badges. I mean, if you go into Amtrak and you ask them anything, they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I got information.
Oh yeah,
I have a badge. Tell me stuff.
I want to buy a no. You got break time? Okay, buy a ticket later, I guess.
I'm very curious though. How did Larry? I mean, this is the thing I was saying. How did Larry get the tracker into the backpack? Like, how did Larry? If Larrick this is the thing if Larrick is so busy trying to kill Jared. Like, why didn't he kill Jared when he had the tracker in the backpack? Was he hoping Jared would lead him to the other killers?
That's what I think.
Who's he after? He's not after Jared.
He's not after Jared. He's after Philip and Elizabeth.
Okay.
Because they killed everybody. They killed those guys at the camp. So I think then there's two ways to look at it. One of two things could have happened. Either A, Jared is kind of cahooting with Larrick, which I don't think is the deal. Right. Or Larrick just picked up Jared's backpack, put the device inside. And at this point, even if Larrick tracks Jared to the safe house, there's no Elizabeth, but that's one more step he can go to getting back to Elizabeth and Philip. I mean, he'll just go up the chain. He'll go any which way he can because there's no real way. The only way for this to stop is that the trail totally goes cold. So if he gets a hold of Jared again at the safe house, he's still got a link back to Philip and Elizabeth.
Right. So he's hot on the trail. So Jared seems to make it okay. He seems to make it away to the old safe house, which I believe was the same safe house that Elizabeth was held up in at the beginning of the season, but we can't confirm that. So that's happening, and that seems to be going on. Meanwhile, back at the Residentura, back in Stan's bed, Nina and Stan. Nina's really giving Stan the sob story, and he's buying it. I'm buying it. We're buying it because it's the whole time, as I asked last week, I couldn't tell if Nina is actually really like an opportunist and trying to figure out wherever the wind blows, whatever's going to get me out of town, or she genuinely got complete loyalty to the KGB and trying to carry out this mission. And it turns out it was B. Like we really thought, again, great storytelling, great suspenseful storytelling, because we had no idea where Nina's loyalties really were until the very last scene.
Well, it could have gone down a couple of different ways. I mean, I get the vibe I get, and I think I said this last week. I think that Arcady sent Oleg in with that. I can't tell Nina this, but you tell her. I think he wanted to make Nina's performance better by by telling her that this is what's happening, and it is what's happening. By the way, this is real. I mean, the people above the Residentura are not going to tolerate this. So one way or the other, either Stan gives them information and they'll keep milking me until he's burned out,
right?
Or and at that point maybe they'll kill Nina, right. Or they're going to kill Nina right away. Either way, they're not playing. And I think that Oleg, I think so what I think happened is that she went to Stan, believing it. Stan bought it because she bought it. And then when the guys bust into the room with Arcady, maybe they were like, hey, at this point, maybe we'll tell her, like, listen, we're not trying to hit her, we're not going to try and hurt you, but we got to hurt you.
Right.
Maybe they told her then, but I don't think she knew bebeforehand. And it's easy to play hurt when you've been hurt, So
what you're positing is that she wasn't in cahoots with him the whole time until they showed up and they were like, oh, we're going through the plan, right? I mean, for her, she could have gone either way until that moment. Is that what you're saying?
I think they sent her out of the Residentura last episode to go to Stan with the belief that Oleg went in. Remember, Oleg sat down with her, yep. or leaned her up against the wall, whichever, and said, hey, here's the deal. If you don't think he's going to be able to pull this off, run. And so then she goes to Stan with the, hey, I'm going to run. And I think that was Arcady's intention, because he went to Oleg and said, I don't have the backing I don't have anybody protecting me, so I can't tell her to run, but you do. You
right.
You remember that scene. And so I think that when they went into when Oleg told Nina that you need to run if you don't think he's going to go for it, that made it very real to her. So when she went to Stan, I think her intention was to run. Mm-hmm. And then Arcady shows up with the guys, and of course then she realizes, maybe at that point they tell her, like, hey, that was kind of a thing, but
sure.
Now we're going to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah, and we'll try not to make it hurt. And poor Stan, I mean, Stan's he went through the whole. I like that. I really like that scene. That scene was almost like from another TV show. That scene is a good standalone sort of like
the car salesman.
The car salesman. That like.
Yeah, he was a good actor too. He's very smooth.
Is
really
something
enjoyed that.
about those two guys having that conversation about selling them the car? Is this something you would get when you the actor guy, you would get like one of those like a small one-act play? It felt very, very cool. But starting the conversation about the car and all what it is, and going back and forth, and then talking about the niece, and ultimately.
Right.
The car salesman's like, well, I'm not lucky enough to have a niece,
Somebody who cares about me. I don't even have a cousin.
That scene played like something Rod Serling would write, like an old, like sort of like.
It did. I agree with you.
Bit of a Twilight Zone or something. It was very cool. Anyway, so he gets the car for his niece.
And my takeaway, because there's something wrong with me, and I said it inside. I'm like, damn it, Stan, you could have got that car for $2,300.
That's a bad negotiation.
You know what I'm saying?
Great scene. That poor negotiation.
Come on. They asked $3,400. He'd have taken $2,300 in cash. You wouldn't have batted an eyelash. You'd have been a done deal.
You would have got. Yeah, you would have got.
I'm not paying $3,400 for a Chrysler LeBaron from.
Anyway, you were very upset about that.
Damn it, put your foot down, Stan.
But the point is, he goes back, skipping in, like, big old.
Oh, this car shows me I love you. Come on.
Like, comes on in, like, I got everything taken care of. Oh. And there's Arcady. Do you know who I am? That was really cool. I thought, like, the look. So after he gives the whole ultimatum, this is what's happening, and to see poor Nina all beaten up, like clearly beaten up, guns drawn, in his little safe house that's not so safe. Asking for what they need. Arcady's playing it so well with all the evidence on his table, like, I can take this right to your superiors. He's like, I don't care about that. Okay, well then I can kill Nina. Or you two lovebirds can go do your thing. Like the look on Stan's face, and you and I both said it. We're like, I don't think Stan's gonna go in there in the Resident Tour and shoot that place up like Bruce Willis did. Nakatomi Plaza.
Nakatomi Plaza.
He's gonna
Nakatomi that is.
He's gonna Nakatomi the heck out of the Resident Tour. He looks so mad.
Yeah, he looked heated, man. I always wonder, like, and this is one of my favorite things in TV is the guy who has nothing left to lose. That is a great character.
And Stan's got his wife's gone.
Wife's gone. Kid don't like me.
He's only my one girl, my best girl is
only thing I got going is this piece of ass. It doesn't like me anyway. So screw it. Burn it down.
Stan is going to go into Resident. I'm telling you, Stan's going to go Schwarzenegger in T1 and go into the Resident Tour. Anyway, I love that look. So yeah, but we soon find out that Stan. We don't know what Stan's going to do, but Stan seemingly is going to. He's getting information about Echo, and he's going through the motions. And I like how he's like sort of talking to Gad about it, like, oh yeah, Echo. And Gad's like, yeah, whatever.
Echo thing. Gad's like, I could care less.
Get out of here. Do it. Computers.
Anywhere but here, Stan.
So Stan's doing his thing, which actually speaks pretty. It sort of goes right in line with what Martha was saying about the office itself.
It does seem like it.
Gad runs a loose ship over there at the old FBI.
It is awfully casual.
It's a very loose ship. So I mean, that's indicative of the times. Who knows? But Gad doesn't run a very tight ship over there because, as Martha, once we found out with Martha, which we'll get to that in a second. So Stan goes through his whole thing. Begins to get the information, finds out that he won't be able to find anything else out till the next day. So Nina, which the look on his face is like, oh, my poor Nina has to endure one more day of being whatever. I don't know if Stan has I would bet anything, and I'm jumping to predictions, but I would bet anything that Stan has another move. Stan's got another move.
Well, good God, I hope so.
Stan is not just going to go, here you go, Arcady, here you go.
Give me Nina. There's no way in hell that's going to be the end of it. Of course not.
He's got moves.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, I'm very interested to see what Stan's other
like
move is.
Arcady's next step. Oh, you gave me Echo? I appreciate that. I set up this nice house for you guys in the Hamptons.
Here's your love nest.
Right?
Go off.
I got you a great
it's
job.
It's on the KGB.
Oh, for you, my friend,
it's
please.
on us. I'm Gorbachev.
Us. No.
No. So we'll see. So Stan knows that. I think Stan's got another move. So, but going back to while Elizabeth is doing her thing with Jared and running that mission, again, something we always forget. Oh, that's right. Philip's got to go and be. He's
got to go shtup some Martha. He's got to get his wig on straight and go shtup Martha.
I mean, he's going to go straight and go be.
Can you imagine looking up in the morning? You're like, God, I got so much shit to do.
Yes.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Oh, Martha.
Oh, God. Put that wig on.
So he goes to Martha, puts the wig on, and I think that whole scene was great because I think that scene did a couple things. I feel like that the Jays, they
handled that pretty smooth. That was great.
And Weisberg, like I think that they knew that they've got all kinds of questions about this Martha. Oh my God! Why drove a blank on his name? What's his name?
Clark.
Jeez, the Martha Clark relationship, and so I'm sure they're answering all the fan questions. Like, they have sex all the time. How does she not know that that's a wig? Does the wig not come off?
I love the way you love me, and I even love your toupee.
Yeah, so they got rid of that. Like, oh, okay, that makes us at home go, well, she knows about the toupee because we all know about that toupee. How does she not know? She's married to him. Then it's like, you know what? They sure have a lot of sex. I mean, like, did she want kids? They're married. Like, is there birth control? What's happening? They handle that with a very good...
Here's a condom, and here's 2 tissues.
We didn't need that.
I didn't need it at all.
It could have been something more subtle, like, "Are you using something?" I always do, Martha. Now I would have done fine with.
You'd have been cool with that.
I didn't need to see the used condom come out and then the tissues being handed.
This is where TV.
Thank you, FX.
This is where TV goes just far enough to make it worse because when you're covered up, all I could think was, now you need to change your sheets. Yeah. That's all. You took that off too early. Now you got to change the sheets.
And then we also handle the whole thing like, what is the end game here with Martha? And Martha's like, F it. Like we know after she played the tape for last week, she brought the stuff in. Now there's another shoe that's obviously going to drop with that. Her bringing home supremely classified documents that can't be good for Martha.
Can't be good for Gad.
So curious as to how they're going to tie up this Martha Clark storyline because this can't go on forever. Maybe it does go on for a couple seasons, but Martha at a certain point can't be like, not wanting to have kids, not being seen, being cooped up, like doing all this spy-ish for her husband and not knowing exactly what. Like, that's not going to go on forever. And so that's going to come to a head in some capacity, including the stuff that she's doing for him.
I think we can draw one conclusion that is irrefutable.
Yes.
Clark is no slouch.
in the sack.
Clark gets it done.
In the sack.
Absolutely.
Yes. Apparently we know that.
Clark handles his business because he shows up twice a week.
Yes.
And is able.
We got two quick things. We got about 3 minutes, so we got two quick things to talk about. The first thing is, I just want to touch very briefly on the Paige in the bus. So Paige goes off, and Paige is very suspicious, and we know that Paige is in the bus on her way, and her and the pastor. I didn't like any of that.
You didn't like Pastor Creepo either.
I didn't like any of that.
You know what I think we don't like about the pastor?
He was looking a little too. Just when he did that wonderful scene like 3 weeks ago, and we loved him so much. He was looking a little too longingly at her. I didn't like any of that.
You know what I think it is? He looks
extended touch.
He looks like a bad guy from the first Die Hard.
He does.
I think that's part of the issue. So I think that's and that's not fair.
Wait, did you read that as creepy? Because you're like, well, maybe Paige likes him, but did you read that as creepy at all, or am I just reading stuff?
No, I think
I have daughters, as you do.
No, I don't think that. I don't think it was creepy. I think it's kind of a tough spot because how old is Paige? Is she 16?
No, I'm 15, 14, 15.
Okay, so I mean, so she's developing her crushes on older guys now, and that's a tough deal. You know, if you're the guy that somebody gets a crush on because. Sure. You didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
And you're trying to keep everything normal and nice and copacetic and pretend the girls are still 11 years old, but they're not.
Right.
And so, I don't know about Pastor Tim. I'm not sure if I think it's Pastor Tim.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if he's the bad guy in this.
Okay, well, that's just, I just want to note that as a creepy moment. And the last thing we're going to talk about very briefly is, the conversation between Oleg and Arkady, the conversation they had. And then when we asked, when we had Costa Road in here, we asked about Oleg's intentions and loyalties, and is he good, is he bad, does he love Nina? He said, you'll find out. He goes to Nina after getting that intel from Arkady, basically goes to Nina and
makes it rain like a maniac.
Makes it rain, gives her a boatload of cash.
How many Chrysler Barons do you think you could buy with that?
I mean, it makes Stan's Chrysler Baron look like a piece of crap.
That was rough.
But he does that, and so Nina's got to feel pretty loved right now. And as you said, she must have some amazing stuff going on. Because
I would say that Nina and Clark, I think we've learned,
can put it down. They win.
They can throw it down.
They win
in
the
sack.
honey pot sweepstakes. They can definitely put it down. So yeah, so that happens, and then so we know that Oleg is really he wasn't playing her, he wasn't doing anything. So we'll see how that plays out ultimately. And we should jump to predictions because we can talk about what I think that means. Yeah.
Now your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I think that I just want to start. I think this whole thing with Stan and Nina and Oleg, this whole love triangle. I'm wondering if it's gonna end with either Stan knowing like, oh my God, Nina played me, or what happened to Nina, or if it's Nina's gonna get out, maybe escape or do whatever she's gonna do through Oleg's doing, and Stan can just think, well, maybe she's safe. Maybe Stan can just think that she got away and she's safe and not know that he was betrayed. I hope that happens, that Nina gets away and Stan doesn't know that he was betrayed by her, although it'd make better television if he thought he was betrayed.
Make really better television.
But I just really hope for the character Stan, this poor guy, that he doesn't know that Nina betrayed him and he got played. So I predict that will happen. Nina will get away, and Stan will think she's safe and didn't betray him. What do you think?
Well, then in that case, then there'll be sunshine and roses, and
rainbows.
Then the resident tour will call over to Philip and Elizabeth and tell them that they're not spies anymore. All they have to do is run their travel agency and live happily ever after.
I detect some sarcasm.
There's just a touch. I would say that when Stan and Nina's whole thing comes to a crashing in. I think it's going to be much better television if Stan is brought to his knees by his own folly, and I think it'll be much more enjoyable to watch. And so that is the direction I think this is going to go.
Well, this whole Lyric thing is coming to a head. The Paige thing, I still think I predicted last week that I don't think Paige is going to make it. I'm afraid of something's going on with Paige, and it's like it's weird. I just feel a weird thing. Like they're so worried about the kids. It'd be horrible, but just something weird's happening. Lots of questions to ask her. Jared, Paige. Lyric, what the hell was Kate doing? Is Jared real? Whose side what's Lyric doing?
It seems like we're due
Oleg.
for some sort of a season finale.
Can they wrap this up in the season finale is what I wonder. Will they give us a bunch of cliffhangers, or will they wrap this thing up?
I don't know. I think most of this feels to me like this is a wrapped up at the end of the season.
Okay, fair enough. Well, it
doesn't feel to me like they're going to carry this over.
We're very excited about coming here next week to talk to you about.
We come see things on TV Box Make Show.
Exactly. Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfelippo.com.
And you can find me at on Twitter and Instagram at Joe K. Braswell. I can't talk, I can't speak. Twitter and Instagram, Joe K. Braswell. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for downloading us on iTunes. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.